Hello again, everybody. My name is Nathan ELEMENTofFROST. Welcome back to yet another Walking Dead video, if you will. It's not really an episode review. It's not an episode prediction. This is quite literally like a thoughts and a topic sort of video. I haven't actually done one before, so it's maybe something new I might be starting up, once in a while. Just if something big happens on The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead or anything like that, maybe I'll do one of these videos. It's only going to be like a 10-minute video, if that. I'm not even going to try to make it that long, but basically, today I wanted to really quickly make a video to dedicate it fully to Glenn. So, if you guys have watched my episode review video this past Monday, you guys would definitely know that Glenn, on the last episode of The Walking Dead, which was Season 6, Episode 3, entitled Thank You, we see Glenn die. Well, we don't really see him die, and that's sort of what the video is about here today. That's what they're making us believe, in my personal opinion, guys. I just don't think that he's dead. I think there's too much evidence to support that he is actually alive, and that's what we're going to go over today in this video. So, spoilers, obviously, I've already, said that Glenn died and stuff like that. Well, so to speak, died, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, we already know that. Right? So, spoilers to follow. If you guys don't want to be spoiled anything, click off the video, stuff like that. If you guys haven't watched up to Season 6, Episode 3, do not watch this video. Anyway, moving on, guys. There's too much evidence to support that Glenn basically is alive. And the reason why I wanted to make it a separate video is because I thought it was such a big topic that I think it needed its own video. It needed its own, dedicated video. It's such a sincere topic to all of us. Glenn is such a huge character to all of us and to the show, that I felt like he deserved it. So, anyway, if you guys are down for this, definitely let me know in the comment section below if you guys want me to sometime make separate videos for different topics and stuff like that, talk about The Walking Dead. Other than just a general episode review and episode prediction, I can definitely do that. So just let me know. That's all I want. Just let me know. Okay, so, first off, we see Glenn go down in basically a blaze of fire. It's not even really a death that is very, good for him, heroic for him, or anything like that. It's a really shitty death, in my opinion. So we see Glenn and Nick on top of a dumpster, obviously being chased by the horde in the middle of the town. I'm not going to go into detail or anything like that, but basically, they're at the end of an alleyway. There's a fence on the other side. There's only a dumpster there. They have nowhere to go, and there's a horde coming toward them. They start fighting off a couple of them. And they basically get on top of the dumpster for safety. You know what I'm saying? So they basically get up on top and stand up there so that the walkers obviously won't bite them, so they don't get consumed. Definitely smart thinking on their part, because, if they stayed on the ground, obviously they would have got consumed, stuff like that, and it would not have ended well. So, they did that, and obviously throughout the episode we see Nick sort of breaking, in a way, like it getting to him. His head just is not in the right spot. And we finally get to see him sort of explode at the last moments of his life. And we do know that Nick for sure is dead, unless it turns out to be some sort of a hallucination sequence or, something like that. But if it does, then, that's that. But if it doesn't, we know that Nick is dead. This video is about Glenn, not about Nick, not about anything like that. It's about Glenn. So basically, what got me thinking is, because, for starters, we never really seen Glenn get bit or anything like that. We've seen intestines being ripped out and everything like that. And he was down on the ground in the herd of the water. Obviously, we've seen Nick originally, finally get to break and explode and basically put the gun up to his head, and he said thank you. Obviously, that being where the episode of the title came from. He pulled the trigger and blew his head blew his head clean off. Well, not really clean off, but he put a hole in it. So he died. He killed himself. And obviously he's dead. He can't hold himself up anymore, so he fell. He fell forward into Glenn, and obviously that knocking them both off of the dumpster and into the giant, and when I say giant, I mean fucking massive horde of walkers. And that's why people think that Glenn is dead. I mean, it's a fair point. That, there's no denying that you would not be able to survive that unless you had, Glenn's instinct and just sheer fact of luck, in my opinion. So the first piece of evidence, or the first clue that we could have for him being alive, is the fact that when Nicholas shot himself up on top of the dumpster, basically his blood went all over Glenn, all over the side of his face, just all over Glenn in general. He fell into Glenn. He's on top of Glenn. He kind of fell forward, but then his body like turned around so that like Glenn's chest, like Glenn's on the ground first, and then Nick is on top of him, but Nick's back is on Glenn's chest. You know what I'm saying? So they're both kind of facing up. That's how they fell. And we've seen intestines being ripped out, but we've seen intestines being ripped out of Glenn's chest. If that was Glenn's chest, obviously that's not how intestines work. Intestines are not up by the chests and stuff like that. So we've seen something getting ripped apart. Okay, that's what we've seen. Now the zombies are ripping apart Nicholas's chest, you know, pulling out his intestines, stuff like that. Glenn is screaming. It all happens in like a slow motion sequence with like music and stuff like that to make it seem very, very dramatic and just make it seem that Glenn died. That's what they tried to make us think. I don't think that's what happened. Basically, Nick fell on top of him. All of his intestines and stuff like that are being pulled out. All the blood and everything is going over Glenn. Now, if we remember back in Season 1 or back in Season 3 when it happened to Michonne, either or, basically when you get covered with, you know, blood and all this guts and stuff like that, walkers do not recognize you, guys. You can walk right through a horde. We've seen it back in Season 1 when Rick and Glenn went to go get that the moving truck, basically, to get them all out of the department building, obviously back in Season 1 and stuff like that. We've seen it happen. We've seen it work. Obviously, it didn't work for too long because rain hit and then, you know, the smell and everything started to wash off. But we did see it work. So that what leads me to believe why, you know, the walkers didn't really attack Glenn and why Glenn was maybe able to get out of there and maybe hide underneath the dumpster or hide inside of the dumpster, you know, something of that nature. Another thing is that we never actually seen Glenn's body just completely getting devoured. When the camera eventually panned up, we didn't see a body down there at all. You know what I'm saying? We seen a gray shirt, but if you take notice, Glenn and Nick were virtually wearing the same tops, the same color tops, not the exact same tops, but the same color tops. And I think they did this intentionally to make us think that, you know, Glenn has actually, you know, bite at the dust. Bite at the dust or bit the dust? I'm not too sure about that. Bit the dust, I think. So yeah, I think that was definitely intentional. I could be wrong. So yeah, I think he had hid underneath the dumpster. Now, this isn't denial, guys. This is just sheer, like, fact. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like, part of it was denial at first, but then there's just too much evidence to support that Glenn is alive. Next thing being, Robert Kirkman tweeted out, saying, you know, was there something big that happened on The Walking Dead? If so, I missed it. If you need me, I will not be on Twitter. And basically he put hashtag RIP, but then he didn't put Glenn or Nick or anything like that. He put hashtag RIP and then a blank. He put a blank there, so you basically fill it in. So there's another thing that leads us to believe that Glenn is dead. If a major character like that died, people would be talking about it. You know what I'm saying? People would be remembering him and things like that. And I mean, I guess it could be a way for him just not to spoil something right on Twitter. I suppose that would be a thing, but I don't see it. Not that way, at least. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the death that they gave him, it was very, very pointless. It was just the stupidity of another character. And obviously we have to wonder, you know, when Negan actually shows up, spoilers for you that are fans of the comic book and plan on reading, this happens in volume 18, or was it 17? I think it's 18. Glenn actually does die in the comic book, guys, but he dies a little later on than when it happened in the TV show, or so what we, you know, obviously think. Glenn got killed by Negan by getting his head smashed in with a baseball bat when we first met Negan. So that goes to show, if Glenn actually did die in the TV show, who's actually going to bite the dust when it comes to Negan? Because I don't think when they introduced Negan that they would leave out such a historic moment like that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess we'll definitely see with that. I mean, obviously, if Glenn is dead, as of right now, another character will most likely take his, you know, his space, his spot, and stuff like that. Again, we'll definitely see. But other than that, one more major fact of why everybody thinks that Glenn is still alive, all those facts that I've already talked about, him being just, you know, so you know, a person being able to basically get out of tight spots, that's what he's done his whole life, sort of, you know what I'm saying? Or at least his whole life in the zombie apocalypse. He's always been able to get out of these tight spots. And he's always been able to hold on and basically survive. You know, that is Glenn. You know, that's why he was a runner for the group. That's why he was always the supplies runner. That's why he's just such a good character in general, is because he's just so adaptable. You know what I'm saying? So, other than that, though, if you guys have watched Talking Dead or watched Talking Dead, anything like that, if you guys watch it, at the beginning of each episode of The Talking Dead, obviously it's right after The Walking Dead, they air this memorial sequence. Just right after the first segment of The Talking Dead, basically to honor the characters and some special zombies and stuff like that that actually died in the episode of The Walking Dead. Okay, so Glenn, he's a main character. He's been there since season 1. That's 6 full seasons. If he died, he would have been in that memorial. In that memoriam, guys. He would be in there. Which leads me to believe why it's not actually a hallucination of Nick's or anything like that, because Nick was in that memorial. But instead of Glenn being in that memorial, like it didn't say rest in peace Glenn, it didn't show his picture or anything like that, it just says rest in peace Nick, and then directly after that it says please don't let this be true. If he was dead, I'm just saying, my personal opinion, he is such a major character to the show, they would put him in a freaking memorial. Not only that, they would have him on the show as a special guest. You know what I'm saying? That's what they usually do with all major characters that die. Sometimes even minor characters that die. They have him on the show as a guest and just, you know, they basically talk about it. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. But anyway, that's pretty much it. That's all the evidence that I have currently. That including a tweet, just general facts of the episode, you know, his situation where he was at. He was next to the dumpster. He was underneath Nick. Nick was getting ripped apart, obviously causing all the blood and guts and everything like that to go all over Glenn, and then maybe that would give him enough time. Obviously the zombies are distracted eating Nick anyway, even if the scent from the guts and the blood and everything like that didn't really cover Glenn and the walkers, you know, still noticed him, that, you know, them devouring Nick still might give Glenn enough time to hide underneath the dumpster, crawl inside of it, or, I don't know, do something flashy, or introduce a new character and make those characters, you know, save them or something like that. I've been really dwindling on the possibility of Jesus, you know, being introduced into this show very, very soon. I know he does in season 5, so I'm definitely excited to see that. We just don't know when, what episode, anything like that. But that's pretty much it, guys. I have nothing else to talk about here today. Tune in tomorrow for my prediction video for this week's upcoming episode of The Walking Dead. It will be season 6, episode 4, entitled Here's Not Here. It's an episode fully dedicated to Morgan, and I'm pretty sure it's a 90-minute long episode, so I'm definitely excited for that. That airs this Sunday on AMC, so definitely tune in. I am sure as hell tuning in. Like I said before, tune in tomorrow for my predictions for that episode. And if you guys agree with anything that I said in this little topic review or anything like that, you know, video basically, let me know in the comment section. We'll have a little discussion down there. If you guys support my theory, hit the video up with a like. It really does help out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I don't know, man. Hashtag pray for Glenn. That's all I can say. All right. Bye for now, everybody.